morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out. How are you doing this morning? I'm going to share with you my journey from brick cities to what I created as my own version of Wall Street. So what is a brick city? A brick city is an inner city. City with high-rise buildings, some of them low-rise, that's constructed by public sitting housing for low-income families so they can have affordable housing. I grew up in the Bronx, but the name Brick City really stems from Newark. I lived in Newark for 10 years, and they were known for being the city of crack bricks, selling crack bricks. What is that? That's drugs. They are known as America's worst ghetto, probably the worst ghetto in the world. I actually watched a woman get mowed down in the middle of Broad Street. It was a nurse, actually, just coming home from work. High-speed car chase, body exploded right in my face. And you wonder why inner city folks are so desensitized. I had nightmares for days. I grew up in the Bronx in a housing project called Melrose, not too far from Yankee Stadium. I could literally walk to Yankee Stadium on a nice day. Never been, as much as New Yorkers rave about the Yankees, never been to a Yankees game. Didn't really matter to me. But don't get me wrong, my mom took us to a lot of places. Me and my sister, we went to neighborhood parks, pools, rec centers. Yes, we had rec centers. We were kept out of trouble through the rec centers. I was on the double dutch team, competed against other housing projects in tournaments, and I enjoyed doing that. But my mom wanted more from me, and she felt that at some point the tools, she didn't have any more tools in her bag, so she was looking for something else. She wanted to break the cycle, break the poverty cycle, the cycle of complacency, the cycle of stagnation. So a friend of hers recommended this program, the Fresh Air Fund. It's a New York City nonprofit agency that sends inner city kids to the country so they can experience unforgettable summers. See, we didn't have a lot of money to go on vacations. So what did my mom do? That's right, she sent me off for 2 weeks to Great Barrington, Massachusetts. 2 weeks. Talk about circle of influence. It's very important to surround yourself with people that know things, do things, and maybe have more things than you do. Had my mom not known about this woman, she probably would have never known about this program. There I am. Hey, Mom, no more brick cities. Just sunshine, starlit skies, flowing rivers, and fireflies. I felt like I could reach the sky. You see me? Happy as can be, wearing a homemade dress. Yeah, that's me. We used to pick fresh fruits and vegetables from the garden for dinner and snacks. No candy. What we used to do is we used to make fresh squeezed lemonade, and we would make chocolate chip cookies and sell them by the roadside so we could buy pretzels. Pretzels at the local shop in the neighborhood. I used to walk on riverbanks. I even learned to swim in a river at 6 years old. Very cold water. So yeah, I could take cold showers. How about that? Yeah, so that was my circle of influence, this family. The family consisted of a Jewish architect. He had his own business, and a Dutch wife. She was a freelance artist and a Catholic. The daughter was a year younger than me, and then they had a toddler as well. Self-employment, how about that? At such a young age, I'm with this family, and they're self-employed. And they understand sustainability. You're talking about solar energy. You know, I'm learning all this at a young age. I was exposed to so many different things. I helped build a house. They would move often. Built tree houses and things like that. I even attended both of their daughters' weddings. Took my husband with me so he got to meet the family. Thank goodness for Facebook. I can still connect with at least the father. The mom passed a few years ago. Yeah, fresh air fun, that's what it is. But the reality is, growing up, I still lived in the Bronx. Even though I would spend longer summers with them, the 2 weeks became 2 months. They even invited me out to celebrate Hanukkah with them. They even took me to Italy. Yeah, full paid trip to Italy, my first time out of the country in my 20s. Great experience. But back at the Bronx, you know, throughout all of this, I was still experiencing a lot of different things. The environment was negative. You know, my mom still wasn't working. I had a couple of friends in the projects, a male and a female. They both had both of their parents in the house, and they both were working. And I used to look at some of the things that they had compared to what we had in our household, and I asked my mom one day, I'm like, Mom, why don't you work? Little did I know that my mother was doing this assessment herself. One day we went shopping, and I saw a pile of books on the street, on a sidewalk. One book stood out, and it wasn't even a nice-looking book. It was just a mustard-colored book with no book cover, but the title read, The Cosmic Forces. What's that? Sounds like some type of cult, right? I opened the book, and I saw a picture of a head with a little man in it. I said, I'm taking this book home. This looks interesting. So in reading that book, I would learn and understand how to delve into my inner self and meditate, creative visualization, and do things like that. And the ritual was basically, I would stand with my hands, palms up, and say, I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. And I would say this 3 times. And I would give thanks for everything that I did have. We had a roof over our head, we had food on the table, and we had clothes on our backs, because it could have been worse. We were poor, but we could have been homeless, we could have been starving. I could have been, you know, abused child. This ritual helped me to deal with a lot of the negative elements living in the housing projects. No, I wasn't always a good girl. I did get into some crazy stuff. Nearly got my head blown off trying to help a friend get out of jail. So you need strength and courage to deal with the fears and the peer pressure and all the negative energy. Your circle of influence is still negative there. You're trying to build upon getting a positive influence, but you're still surrounded by negativity. So I needed that strength. I needed protection. I watched a guy get killed in a park while he was playing spades because he told some little kids to stop breaking glass. You know what the kids did? They called their brother. Guy came down, stabbed them all up. Next thing you know, we're in the hospital. Just like that. I needed protection. I didn't want to wind up like that. It's that situation where you better mind your business or you might get killed. Then I needed guidance because I had to get out of all of that. I didn't want to be around all of this. You know, I needed to work. I wanted some good luck. Could we get rich? Could we hit the lotto? Something. Let's get out of all of this. So the ritual really worked out for me. Now, why this ritual? Well, I did a few things. Pray, affirmations, and this. So I did a combination of things. I was desperate. Who remembers this movie? Yeah. I love it, right? I love Eddie Murphy. Love Dan Aykroyd. Funny, right? Very funny, clever, intelligent movie. Very popular comedy. The message behind this that I received was heredity versus environment and the quality of life that you receive in those situations. I also discovered I need to know what that commodities thing is. What are they doing? They making money. Everybody's having fun. I need to know about all of that. So for my 12th birthday, my mom's boyfriend at the time bought me a book called How to Buy Stocks. Ironically, the book was the size of a brick. I read a couple of pages of that book, and I was like, something said how to open an account, and you need money. Whoop, can't do that, because I don't have that. Now I don't know where that book is now. So I had to put the book down. But it made me think, I have to do something to get where I want to go. So by the age of 14, I was applying for jobs at a local strip avenue not too far from my home. It's called 3rd Avenue. clothing retail store reached back out to me. I was 14. I would be working at this retail store on the weekends, getting a real check, no under-the-table stuff here at 14. By the time I was entering into high school, and I went to high school in Manhattan, so I wasn't trying to deal with the Bronx too much, on Park Avenue, Norman Thomas, where they majored in secretarial studies. So I was on 33rd Street, Park Avenue, learning how to type and do shorthand. By the time I became a sophomore, I was in the co-op program and got a job with a computer consulting firm. This is when personal computer, people really didn't have personal computers in their house, and I was working for a company that was consulting and doing all that type of stuff. So I would work this job after school. Great job. It was on Madison Avenue, 42nd Street and Madison Avenue. Loved it. I would work that job and graduate from high school and work that job for full-time for an entire year afterwards. No, I didn't go to college after high school because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And college cost money. We really didn't have all that money. I was saving money. I had my first bank account, even got my first car. But I just wanted to make money, and that's what I did. So working in that area of Manhattan, you know, you're exposed to different things. They had temp agencies that would train you in new software. So of course, if they train you, you can make more money. So I left that job I had at the computer consulting firm and worked with a temp agency for a little while. Landed me a job at a private bank, chemical bank. Do you know what that is? You got to have a lot of money to even deal with that type of bank. These are banks that celebrities are involved with. So I got a long-term assignment, and then I was exposed to a different circle of people. These folks were going to workshops and seminars, Brian Tracy, Dennis Kimbrough, Les Brown. I'm like, who is all these people? I'm like, I need to know. So I was going to these workshops, and then I wanted to have my own business. I decided to go to college, broaden my horizons, learn how to, you know, write business plans and marketing plans. I paid my own way through college. Because again, the temp agency only had limited benefits, but we were getting paid weekly. So at that point, I signed up with a multi-level marketing company. It was really big back then. Seems like it's really big now too. New Skin International. So I became an independent contractor, and I would set up shops, salons in the Bronx, go in on Saturdays and do facial demos. They had this product called Facelift. Everybody wanted to get their facelift. Then I found a friend that wanted to financially back the project so we can put product on consignment in salons. That was big. But it got to be a lot of work, and I wasn't really passionate about it anymore. Things were changing. I wanted a different direction to go in. I wanted to help people and do different things. So I got out of that. And working in a temp agency, when you're working with the companies, you hear folks talking about benefits and days off, and then I wasn't really getting all that, because any day I was off, I wasn't getting paid. So now I started looking for a full-time job. So I registered with Robert Half International, and they landed me a job at Dow Jones Markets. They had just bought out this company, and now they were delivering electronic financial market information. Oh my God, that's what I always wanted. I would be a help desk specialist, sit by an elder that was an avid stock trader. He would teach me the ropes, how to buy and sell stocks. By that time, I had saved up about $2,500, $3,000 to open up an account with TD. At that time, it was TD Waterhouse. My life was good. So I would stay with this company 3 years. A month after I was hired, the agency called me and said, hey, we got something for you at Credit Suisse First Boston. It's an investment bank. Can you do that part-time? Oh, absolutely. I'm going to work 9 to 5, 6 to 12, and on the weekends. 23, making all this money. Then 9/11 happened. Major impact. Anxiety attacks, depression. Couldn't find a job. Near suicidal. Couldn't believe it. I didn't want to go back to poverty. So I talked to my mom about it. And she said, what? Look at what all you've done. Look at what you have created. This is a quitter's mentality. You got to go on. And it's no sense in dying Life is living. You got to live life. Have faith. So I stuck it back out again, landed a job at Verizon Wireless, where I met a wonderful man who had a vision, and he talked to me about this vision of opening this restaurant, the Land of Kush. We've been open 4 years, and the venture basically was because we wanted to help the city of Baltimore, our folks, in learning how to eat better, protect the environment, and stop the cruelty to animals. And then after that, we had to deliver a festival as well, really get into the city and do some outreach. So thank you for that, Mr. Gregory Brown. Brian Tracy, I've read a lot of books and listened to a lot of audiobooks, but this quote right here resonates in my mind always. Failure is an indispensable prerequisite to success. You cannot succeed without failing. There's no one in the history of life that has ever succeeded without failing. You have to take a leap of faith. Had I not done all the things I did and took all the chances I took, I probably wouldn't be where I am today and still moving forward. So if anything that I can deliver, any message that I can deliver to you this morning, take a leap of faith, and keep a positive attitude, and keep your circle of influence positive. Thank you. Brick City, Wall Street.